What's up, B&B family? Welcome back to the Believers in Business podcast. I'm your host, Brian Adamson, and I have with me today the lovely Tiffany Bethea, who's a coach, a business coach. She's a speaker, she's an author, and from what I'm starting to learn, she's just a phenomenal individual, which I think that y'all will learn here as we unpack this conversation today. And so first and foremost, Tiffany, thank you for joining us into this conversation today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I do not take it lightly when someone shares their platform. So thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So one of the things that I like to do when I start these conversations is appease the people, right? Let's call it what it is. People are, if they've gotten this far, they're a minute and 30 seconds in with us or however long, they want to know what's in it for me. What's in it for me, right? So what is it that you do to help business owners in the marketplace so that we can let everybody know why they should keep listening to this conversation?
Yeah, I think my sweet spot, and this is the wording I've been using lately, is that most of the people I work with think that their experience, their credentials, their anointing, their gifting is enough. And what I help them understand is no, you need exposure. You need an audience. You need visibility. You need people this is how I've been saying it. You cannot change the lives that can't find you. So I'm helping them get in front of the people that actually need what they have.
That's so good. I like to say that your visibility is your new ability.
Okay, come on.
Nobody cares how good you are if they don't know that you exist.
Yes.
Oh man, I can tell this is going to be a good conversation already. Okay. So let's talk about that, because oftentimes when business owners come into a room and you ask them, what do? Right?
Yep.
They typically tell you their resume.
Yes.
I got a doctorate in this. I got a certification in that. And I'm like, your buyers don't care nothing about that though. Like they really like, I love you. I know, but you could polish those later at home. They really don't care. They care about WIFM, what's in it for me. So what's some of the things that you do to help them understand what's really important as it pertains to building out a brand?
Yeah. Oh, this is such a good question. Look, it's a loaded question, right? It's a loaded question. So let me add this as context. Most of the people who come to me, they're thinking like, I'm trying to launch this thing and it's not getting the results I want, and they can't figure out why. And sometimes it does involve looking at the actual thing. Is it a good offer? Does it make sense? Like those pieces for sure happen too. But what I realized for the next step is that I call it your disruptive market message. I feel like everyone has to have a message that literally disrupts somebody's scroll, that they're just kind of doing this, right? And when they see you, they're like, wait a minute. Oh, let me actually stop and read this. There's something in it that hooks them and where they are. And so I feel like I'm always reviewing websites, and I have a million business cards, and people, like you said, they list out, I've got this degree, but they don't tell us, who are you in the world? Why do you matter? Like, how are you disrupting? I believe that all of us are called to be disruptors in some way. So how are you disrupting? What change are you bringing to the market?
That's so good, Tiff. Because I think, especially for those that come from corporate, right, where you're taught to assimilate, those that come from college, where you're taught to assimilate. In the marketplace, assimilation is your annihilation.
Okay, that's a bar.
The more that you blend in, the more broke you are.
Yes, precisely.
So I love that word disruptive. It sounds violent, but it is that violent in business. Business is a violent contact sport. Like, let's call it what it is. And so what's some of the steps that you take them through to kind of craft this disruptive messaging and type of ideology?
Let me tell you something. True story. I was just live. I did a live stream earlier today. So this is very fresh on my brain. Okay. So we love a framework. So I'm going to give you a 3-step. Okay. So I usually say step 1 is identify what's that mainstream message. What do they already think? What are they saying? What do they believe? And step 2 is, what do you believe that's different? Because you're the expert and you know that belief that they have isn't accurate. you know the belief that's going to actually move them toward the solution that they need. What is that? Identify that. And then step 3 is turn that into a statement that actually grabs the attention of your ideal audience. So that's kind of like the 3-part step I take them through.
Oh my God. Okay. God is something else. Right. Because we had a training, David and I, with our mastermind earlier today. And we're teaching them how we actually do our 5-day challenges.
Okay.
Day 1 of the challenge,
Yeah.
we teach the audience something that they don't know about something that they do know.
I love that. I love
So for those
Exactly.
that's listening and paying attention, listen to me closely. We just both told you the same thing. And we didn't plan it. It just so happened this is what both of us did today.
Yeah.
Why is that so important to talk to your audience about something they're already familiar with, but to show them a different side of it? Why is that so important?
Yeah. Because here's the thing, I kind of teach like the bridge method. For people who are coaches, consultants, and offering transformation, your audience is here at problem, but they want to be here at solution. And so your goal is to move them across the bridge. What the reality is, why are they still here? What do they think or know or not know that's causing them to be here? How can you help them unlock new information that gets them across the bridge? And the reality is, most of the people that we work with, it's not that they don't want to be at the solution. There's something that they don't know, but you do know. That's why you're qualified to help them. And honestly, bro, what I realize is, it's so basic to us that most people, the reason they struggle with their content is because it's like, duh, they don't realize that their audience doesn't know it. You know it.
Facts.
They don't know it. You got to tell them what it is.
Facts. Man, that's so good. Success is simple.
It's very,
And
very
it's
simple.
normally hiding right in front of us, out in the open.
Precise. Bishop Jakes always says your genius is in your normal. And I've quoted that so many times. I don't know if he has like an affiliate program or what, but like, it's so true. We miss it because it is actually that simple.
Man, that's good. It's so interesting how we spend so much time of our life trying to assimilate and be a part of whatever environment that we in,
Yeah.
not realizing that our superpower is our uniqueness.
Yes.
But because we
Precisely.
feel naked with our uniqueness, we spend our whole
And
life trying to
vulnerable.
cover it, and vulnerable.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
oftentimes what it sounds like, at least to me at least, is you're helping people just go and identify what that uniqueness is, and then open up all the shades in the house to shine as much light on that thing as possible.
Can I, this is how I've been saying it for a while.
Okay.
The Holy Spirit gave it to me like this. And I was like, I'm artsy, so I see in like pictures and stories, right? And I always like to say, as a spirit-filled brand coach, my approach is a little bit different because I don't want to just like make up a brand. If he took Adam and literally formed him out of the dust and then breathed that breath of life into him, that breath, that ruah breath, it was his abilities and his talents. It was that uniqueness you're speaking about. And so I'm like, what is the thing that God breathed into you to exhale into the earth? That's my job, is to pull that out. We're not gonna make it up. He already breathed it in there. That was what he did. That's what we shine a light on, but we don't have to just make it up. It's already in you.
My goodness. What's, because there's somebody that's watching this right now that's been waiting for permission to step into that reality. What are some of the practical things that you do with those clients to help them to see themselves in the proper frame?
Yeah. Brian, I got a framework for everything. I should just tell
I
you.
love it. Come on with it. I love it. I love it.
Cause it's weird. I'm artsy and creative on one side, but I'm super practical and I need like for me, I have found in my own life that every breakthrough is simply a swap of some lie, I think, for the truth.
Come on.
And I'll give credit where credit is due, because Lisa Nichols actually taught me this in some regard too, right?
Okay.
Many moons ago. So what she had us do was write down what's the lie I believe, which can sometimes take a minute to identify. But like, what is it that I believe? Is it that I think I'm not smart enough? I don't speak well enough? What do I think about myself? Let me write that down. That's what I think. But then now let me go look in the word and find the truth, because that's not true. That's not true. But what is true? Because I gotta now replace that lie. And I'll be honest, that takes time. It's not a quick, it isn't always a 21 day. It can take real time.
Sure.
But when you replace that lie with the truth, then you're able to stand a little bit more confidently, a little bit more boldly in that truth.
That's strong. That's strong.
Yeah.
You know, do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind daily.
Right.
Daily. Right?
Yes.
God don't mince no words. He don't waste none either. Daily. So to your point, we got to stop playing with people like it's abracadabra. It's like, no, it's intentional focus. It's deliberate action. And it's rewiring of your operating system.
Yeah, literally.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, it's literally that, because I'm a firm believer that people only behave consistently in what they believe. So if you believe that nobody in my family were ever millionaires, how could I be one? If you believe that my uniqueness is weird because those around me who didn't understand it weaponized it against me instead of celebrated it with me. Right?
Yes.
So if I believe those things, then why would I ever want to shoot content and be embarrassed?
Right.
Like, why? Who would do that? Right? That seemed like a stupid idea. Why would I ever go and start the business if I don't believe I can be successful? Right?
Exactly.
And so I just love the fact that you aren't just teaching tactics, you're helping them with the essence.
Yeah.
And I think that's so missed in this coaching experience now, because we know that most people are so enamored by the numbers and the results and the productivity.
Yeah.
But they'll never get those things if they never become the person to get those things.
Yes. Yes.
And so you're going back to kind of reset the operating system of saying, this is who you need to become. And then, yes, I'm going to show you how to get the bag as well. But if you look at the parable of the talents and God bless each of them according to their abilities, then it's like, you're going to stay being the one that had the one if you don't become the person that can handle the 5.
Precisely. Listen, this is me trying to stay calm because you're talking good.
Oh,
okay.
So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to tag you in, okay? Because what I want to know is, how did Tiffany even get here?
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. I feel like my story is very much the children of Israel coming out of Egypt. It was not linear. You know, it was not, the map says we should go that way. Oh, you're going to take me that way? That doesn't. So I'm a PK. Let me say that.
Wow.
My parents have what would definitely be considered a mega church here in Baltimore. They own a mall. It's you know, it is what it is.
Okay.
So that's a huge part of my story, is seeing my parents walk in their purpose. And I often tell this, I feel like God has me to share it a lot, that I'm a second generation. You know, my parents are investors, they own property. I mean, they're doing the things, you know?
Okay.
And so that was helpful for me to see, because it made walking in my oftentimes people are like, oh, what you're doing is, they're so impressed. And I'm like, this is what I saw. This was the example my parents set for me, you know? And it's what I want people to understand who are the first out the gate, that it may be a little bit rough being that trailblazer, but speaking as somebody who came behind the trailblazers, it's worth it. Go out first, you know, trailblaze that path for your children. So that's a huge part of my story.
Have you found it on the flip side of that, maybe even a little more challenging, though? Because for the trailblazers, you got nothing to measure up against. So while you don't have an avatar to point to say, I want to be like that, you also, it's kind of like anything you do is better than what they did. In your particular case, have you felt an undue pressure to measure up to something because you have had an example of what success looked like?
Times 10. Okay. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because like you said, other people have a measuring, and it's so funny. Believe it or not, I'm a big sports fan.
Okay.
So basketball specifically. So I'm watching this now with Cayenne, all the clips, and it's like this poor baby Journey. Nobody was comparing Melo to nobody, But now Cayenne, everything he does is like, oh, and yes, I can relate to that. I mean, everywhere I go, Lord have mercy, especially here in Baltimore, people who know my parents, it's like there's a measuring stick in their mind of, are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? So yes, it, on the one hand, it was easier. Like, I have radical faith. That was easy because I watched my parents believe God for crazy stuff. So that is easy for me. I can believe God for crazy stuff. But the identity piece was my big struggle because of the opinions of others.
So if you don't mind, right, I think it'd be great if we can talk about even some situations in pivotal moments where you've seen that show up in this process of becoming who you are today.
Yeah. Oh boy. Let me tell you, I'm gonna just be super candid.
Yeah.
I think the identity piece for me, and I've done amazing things in business and yay and that, and it looks great. But I believe I could be further had I firmed up my identity a little sooner.
Okay.
Like, I see myself now, I'm sure, but I had to fight through the noise a little bit, and it impacted sometimes showing up consistently because I was, here, there, and everywhere, which we know consistency impacts revenue. So there were years where I could have had more money that year, but I didn't keep launching, or I didn't keep doing. I was I was unsure, in who I was, which impacts what you do. And so I don't ever believe in like being behind, but I'm just very aware that like I could have been more further, based on what I know, based on the mentors I've had and what I've learned. But the identity piece, it took me some time to shore up.
That's major. Something you said in there that I don't want to go overlooked is inconsistency impacts revenue.
Absolutely.
My goodness.
Big time.
My goodness. You know, it's so interesting. I love having these conversations. And one thing that we like to do on the B&B pod is just have candid conversation, right? And I appreciate your vulnerability and willingness to share that, because there's always, to me, there always seems to be a connection between what one had to endure in order to qualify them to teach those that they teach now.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I believe that when it's a divine assignment, which is one that you're on, God doesn't rely on us to have to manufacture empathy.
Yeah.
He creates an environment that bestows it upon us.
Ooh, that's a bar. That's good. Yeah.
So he like, I ain't even gonna worry about you getting full of yourself, because I'm gonna put this thorn in your side that you better not go out there trying to act like and wave your finger from your ivory tower to them folks when you know
Exactly. Yep.
back at the ranch what was going on. Now, if you
Yeah.
act like you don't know, I could remind you of that.
Okay,
If
we
you
can
keep playing with my
revisit it.
people like that,
Yes.
or you can meet them where they are and say, I can't stay here with you, but I can identify with you.
Yeah.
How have
Yeah.
how have you seen that show up with your coaching clients?
Because you know what? First of all, I mean, goodness gracious, like, this is so good. I can't wait to watch this, right? Because so many nuggets are being shared. So first of all, coming into coaching and consulting, again, being a PK, I started, working with people locally. And so there was kind of already this pedestal, like, that people, and then even now, just how people, different ways that people find me, different communities I'm a part of, whatever. Sometimes people can just have this very like, high and lifted up view. And so I've had to be really intentional in my content, which is even in this interview, I tend to just be super vulnerable because I need to bring myself, I don't mind you and admiring me, but I don't want you having me on such a pedestal to where you don't think I've gone through what you've gone through or that I can relate. I got to open up the curtain and let you see the ugly so that you can say, well, sheesh, if she made it through, okay, I can too. But sometimes if we don't share the been through, people only see where we are now. And while they are inspired by it, there's a part of them that thinks they don't know, they can't relate, you know? And I need you to know I can relate in order to really help you the way I want to help you.
My God. Yeah, you said a lot right there, Tiff. You said a lot right there. And I think it's just so important, you know, the humble shall be exalted, right?
Yep.
The exalted shall be humbled.
Precisely.
You're like, hey, Lord, check this out. I'm gonna take care of the humble piece. You ain't even got to worry about that. I'm gonna do that for
Right.
myself. You ain't even got to worry about
Right.
that. What do you think? Okay, if you don't mind. So, PK, finding your way. What were some of the things you've done professionally to find your way to even land at this spot?
Oh boy. So this is what I'll say. There was always this tension for me between marketplace, is what we call it, ministry, and like in the four walls ministry, right? So I've been ordained minister, preached, all of that. And sometimes when I was trying to figure out my marketplace offer, I was thinking with my in the four walls mind.
Okay. Talk about it. Yeah, let's park.
Uh-huh.
Let's pull the car over right here and park here for a
Uh-huh.
second. Yeah.
So very plainly, one of my mentors in one specific season when I was rebuilding, I remember one of my mentors said to me, if I were you, I would really just focus this season on, a high ticket offer. Now, this man has done mega things for God, multi-millions of dollars, multi. And I said to him, I don't know, though. I feel called to build this community, this little membership, And he was like, okay, if that's what you want to do. And so that after it didn't work, what I realized was, Tiffany, that was the
after
part
it
of
didn't
you.
work was crazy too. I like how you just slid that in there.
Oh, you like that?
After it didn't work.
After I realized, ma'am, this is not going to keep the lights on. What are you doing? Okay. I was like, oh, this is that part of me, the part that is called, in the four walls. And sometimes, how did my friend said it one day? She said, sometimes Minister Tiffany will fight Mogul Tiffany. They'd be at odds. That's what my friend said. Give her credit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes it will cause me to not have the right offer or business model because I was so bleeding for like, oh, I wanted just the people and that pastory heart. And it was like, no, don't let her decide to offer though. Like, let her show up in the coaching section.
So have you between either traditional ministry or marketplace ministry, that's all you've done professionally, like since you've been an adult?
No. So graduated college and okay, fun fact. I actually sing. I'm a worship leader.
Wow.
Don't all pastors have one kid that's musical, right? And so I was a music major and then I changed my major to business because of a moment. When I first graduated college, I was like, here's y'all degree. I'm gonna go to New York and do my music, right? So moved to New York. Then I came back home and I felt like that wasn't what God was blessing. So at that point, I actually started working at my parents' church. I took over as their marketing and events director.
Okay.
And so I did that for a little while. And at that point, started getting some calls from other ministries, nonprofits, to help them with their marketing. And then in 2012, I said, you know what? I can do this for myself. And that was the point where I transitioned to working full time in business, but was still, preaching and doing some of those things. But the bread and butter was the marketing consultant.
Wow. So, okay. That gives me a lot of context. So when you were in New York, were you making secular music or were you in the
Yes.
gospel? Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. I was still singing. I forgot to say that.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to be the next Jill Yonsei, but I do.
Okay. I think that's important, right? And I got a lot that I want to talk about on that side. But before I get there, so 13 years now, essentially, almost 14 by the time this recording comes out.
Yeah.
You've been coaching folks.
Yeah. Can't believe it. Yes.
What's one of your favorite like transformation stories of one of your clients?
So hard. Okay. I said that it's hard, right? And then one of the ones that pops into my mind is a powerful woman. She was a speaker, she's a minister, and she was also a neurodivergent learner, which was a newer experience at that time. Like, oh, wait a minute. Like, okay, I need to also be mindful of like people's different ways that they learn and things. And she was just brilliant. Like all of the people I work with, I believe are just brilliant, but she was stuck. She was very much stuck. And she was actually working with a very reputable coach. But that particular program, while it was teaching her how to kind of like speak and do all of these things, there was nothing in there to help them identify, oh, by the way, what is your topic and what has God actually called you to do?
Okay.
So she spent a lot of money in that program and some doors were opening, but she was still like, I don't think, like it wasn't clicking. So I did a brand audit initially, went to her website, looked at all of her digital assets, gave her the gaps. And then from there, we started actually working together and coaching. And the very first thing I did was say, that's not your topic. Where did this topic come from, right? Who picked this? So we switched her coaching, her niche, her focus, her transformation. And bro, we weren't even done coaching. Like we still had months left. And she came back and she had accidentally made $12,000 in like less than a month.
Wow.
And I was like, girl, we're not even at that part yet.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
But just the alignment shift, we didn't even get to the other steps yet. Just shifting her alignment, it was like the floodgates began because she had not made, she hadn't had it. That was her first 5-figure month.
So let's talk about that for a second, right? Big kudos to her for obviously submitting to her teacher, taking the counsel.
Yeah.
A lot of people most people nowadays have, if they're in business, they've had a coach, right? Or maybe even multiple to this point. Why do you think people end up so confused with all these different coaches?
I have a very firm theory on this.
Oh, let's talk about it. Okay.
I have a very firm theory on this. And I think it's because in school, there are grades. So if I'm in the first grade, I'm not trying to do 5th grade math. I'm in the first grade. Or if I'm in 5th grade, I'm not trying to do calculus. There is a clear curriculum for the grade that I'm on. And as I look out at all of the content and everything, nothing is, how do you know if this course or this are you at that stage of business where that's going to be helpful? Maybe that's for a 12th grader and you're in the 2nd grade in business. How do you really know, And I think that's one of the biggest challenges is that these things need to happen in sequential order. And even as I've gotten different I'm certified as a business advisor. And so as you go through these frameworks, you realize people are trying to do that before that. And that's why they're getting so confused. So I think that's part of it.
Man, that's so good. Luke 14:28, suppose one of you wants to go and build a tower, won't you first sit down and estimate the cost first? For if you start to build and lay the foundation and run out of money in the process, people will look at you. Some translations say ridicule you and call you a fool. That's crazy to me. So how many people are trying to build the house and forgot the foundation?
Yes.
And the unfortunate truth is, with the help of now ChatGPT, it will be remarkable but not relatable.
Yeah.
So if I don't know what the right answer is, and it gives me a great answer, it may be a great answer, but for not the step that I'm on.
Yes, precisely.
And that's exactly what's happening, right? So you're finding a lot of your clients you're coming in contact with all due respect, they're putting lipstick on a pig.
Absolutely.
Beneath the lipstick it's not the thing.
it's not the thing. Precise. And that's what this client had gone through. She was willing to invest. She was willing to do the work. She was in a powerful speaking program, but she know who she was called to. And that comes first. Because if you get the, speaker reel and all these things, but you're not in your sweet spot, the results are still going to be skewed. So I think that's one thing I'm really passionate about, is helping people do the steps in the right order,
What? So on the flip side of that, you've been coaching for 13 years now, officially.
Right.
Almost 14 at the time of this recording.
Yes.
What has been your worst client to work with?
And this is the only time I've ever had to do this.
Okay.
I had a VIP day with a client, and we got we were working together for 4 hours straight that day. And we got to about an hour, maybe an hour and a half in. And again, you can tell I'm very framework, step by step. There's a process, like that. And so we were on a step, and we couldn't go to the next step until we really mastered this one. And it was like we just hit a brick wall. I mean, her limiting beliefs just came up like, and we just couldn't. I'm sorry, I should have told you I'm a nut. It was like we could not. And I've learned, my superpower in coaching is asking questions. So if I ask you a question and we can't quite, I'll backsize, I'll revert. I know how to get out what I need to get out. And she was just really, really stuck. And it was so bad that I said to her, we're going to stop right here. I'm not going to just take your money. I know you paid me for 4 hours, but I can't even get to the next steps. So I said, here's what we're going to do. I gave her a video to watch and some reflection questions. And I said, we're going to reschedule the second half of this. And she came back about a month later, and it was like, the ground was rocky, but it was, by the time she came back to me, it was that stony heart was soft, and we were able to continue. Because I was like, what's not about to happen is we get to the end of this 4 hours and I took your money, but you didn't really get, because you're so stuck. I was like, you need some time to go plow that ground. And then she came back, and it was a totally different session, but I had never had to do that. And I was nervous about how she would respond, but I believe in integrity. I knew I couldn't get her to the solution that day. And I was like, we're going to stop right here.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, one amazing story of redemption, but even more amazing of a story of integrity.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Okay. Because you've been in the church all your life, still is.
Yep.
We have a lot of faith-based entrepreneurs online. We got a lot of faith-based business owners, right?
Yes.
Here on the Believers in Business podcast, we like to talk about such things candidly. Okay. Because I got a lot of different schools of thought as to how we go out and create these faith-based businesses that are expensive hobbies with Jesus glitter on them.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
And then call ourselves having the nerve to get mad at people because they don't want to pay us when we ain't never have us set up the right way in the first place, and we false advertising putting his name on it.
Yes.
Because he didn't tell you to create that mess.
Okay.
So talk about how important it is as you're doing business as a kingdom entrepreneur that you disconnect yourself from the money, as you did in that instance, saying what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Like, talk about how far has that gotten you as a result of operating in that kind of way?
Yeah. And you know what? If I'm honest, I think that happened maybe 2 years ago. Yeah. So I was a much more experienced coach. I don't know that I would have done that earlier on because I would have been more money focused. Yep. But what I know now that made me make that decision is the actual transformation is everything, right? The reason people come back to me, even when I'm not promoting, is because of the actual transformation. And I protect that at all costs. And so, but that took time,
For
is
sure.
what I'm getting
For
at.
sure.
Like,
No, I appreciate you being
I
real
wouldn't have
about
did
it.
that 10 years
100%.
ago, probably. I probably
100%.
would have been like, well, you just gotta,
Yeah.
but now I recognize, especially now, I mean, gosh, the marketplace is so much more saturated.
Mm.
And which means now what I have found, and I'm interested to see if you have found this, is that integrity matters even more. Like back in 2012, 2013, it wasn't hardly nobody. It was so different.
Mm-mm.
But now, every time I do a sales call, people had been burned. They got that little twitch of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know
Twitch
what I'm
is
saying?
crazy.
They like, are you going,
Yeah,
this going to be worth the
for
money?
sure.
So I protect the actual transformation at all costs to the point where if I don't think I can help a client, I won't work with them. I'll refer, I will only work with you if I believe I can actually get you to the transformation, because what I've seen at this stage of my career is that it's the actual wins that keep people coming in. Social media is great. Whoa, yay, presence. It's the fact that I'm actually creating the transformation that's keeping the door
Facts.
revolving.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in your your fulfillment is your best marketing. Like you can keep marketing, promoting, selling through, finding new. Eventually, if you're not taking care of people, that's gonna catch up,
We gonna know.
right?
Yeah. Yep.
And something that you said that I just got a quick revelation of was like when Jesus did miracles. In some cases, he told them, now go and show everybody, right? Other cases, when he was still trying to hide his identity, he told them not to. But in either case, they still went and spoke on his behalf
Right.
because of the fulfillment, the transformation that occurred.
Yes. Yes.
That's a clue,
Yes. Yes.
right? And I appreciate what you said because even for myself, I was very money focused when I first got in business, right? I needed to prove to myself that I could become a millionaire, all the things. And I did it at a cost, right? Got there and was still rich and miserable. I wasn't truly fulfilled. I didn't understand why. I was probably drinking more than I was before I made the $1 million at that time.
Yeah.
So I get that. And for me, it was this elevation and revelation of what it really means to be a kingdom entrepreneur. When you really embody that, if I serve my assignment, if I Matthew 6:33 this thing, if I get up every day and serve my Metron, whoever God has put and ordained for me to connect with, that all these things will be added. That take all the pressure off of me,
All.
right? When I'm on a sales call, to your point, I'm never worried about the sale at all. I'm worried about understanding, does this person have the exact problem that I solve?
Yeah.
And if so, then I'll present the opportunity of how I can help them. And by that same token, even for those that, like you did, in rerouting and sending them elsewhere, you still get the increase from that. God just didn't choose to send it through that person, but he still is going to give you the increase because you served your assignment for that day. And I think as believers, that's so grossly, like we only look at scriptures in the context of church. You know what I mean? And that's why so many believers are broke.
Yes.
It's a good segue. Why are so many believers broke, Tiff? Let's talk about it.
Ooh, how much time? I'm gonna talk about me. I'm not gonna talk about the viewers because I don't want,
No, talk about them because they need to know. I'm just playing. Okay.
Because to your point, and let's literally pick up what you just said. Just because you are a believer doesn't mean that area is also surrendered or consecrated.
Uh-oh.
And that's what I had to realize. I'm like, wait a minute. Just because I went under the water, my business didn't go under. Like, no. Like, and it took, I had to be honest. I would say it was around 2017, 2018, where I had to be honest with myself and go, and I literally wrote a resignation. I'm not the CEO, you are. And I'm a similar address, but I was like, I got to get out the driver's seat and scoot over to the passenger seat because I'm in the driver's seat, praying and seeking God and still trying to drive. And he was like, girl, you in my seat. And so I had to literally surrender it. And I think that sometimes people can assume just because they're a believer that and that goes for all of the areas of our life, to be frank.
Oh,
We
fact.
still have to manually surrender. You could be tongue talking, all the things, and that particular area could be just as carnal as ever. And it's like, that does not reflect him. So I think that's one, is that assuming that it's being spirit led and we haven't truly given him the authority. He gave us dominion. So if you have to surrender that dominion and say, Lord, I technically could do whatever I want in this area, but no. I want you to lead me. I want you to guide me, and then be obedient. Okay? Because obedience is also a very key ingredient. What you said, when you said it, how you said it, all of those pieces together. So I think that's what I want to start with.
Look, that's a great start. Okay. That's a great start. So I do these presentations sometimes, and even with pastors, where I've done, the title of it is, it's God's business and I'm the co-CEO. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that if we understand that heart posture, everything changes. Because until you change that heart posture, you're going in your prayer closet asking God to co-sign on your idea.
Yes.
And if it ain't his idea, he ain't co-signing on it.
Nope.
So you end up frustrated, mad at him, when it was like, he's not signing that's a bad contract. He's not signing that.
Exactly. Yes.
And so that is the first thing. I think a lot of time we think because we're called, because we're anointed, because we're gifted, that just means, while we do, to your point, we got free will, 100%.
Yeah.
But if he's infinite wisdom,
Yeah.
if he's Jehovah Jireh, our provider, and every good and perfect gift comes from him,
Yeah.
hello? I mean, the business is a gift, is it not?
It is.
The gift is a gift, is it not? The anointing is a gift, is it not? So it's like, I got to go back to the owner's manual and figure out how this thing's supposed to work.
Yes. Yes.
And for me, one of the things that I believe hold believers back a lot is expecting harvests in areas they haven't sowed seed.
Where do I send the offering? Come on now.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay, because I'm sure I get my offering together. Yes, sir.
It baffles me that we go and put our tithe in the church, and then we just sit around and we just look for our miracle. To making money ain't a miracle.
Come on.
It's a process filled with methodology.
Yes.
Sowing and reaping is one of those.
Yes.
Those who sow sparingly shall also reap sparingly.
Come on.
But where do we think this is supposed to be happening at?
I want to be honest.
Okay.
I think that some of the name it, claim it, some of the prosperity, me and my sister actually always say, I also think people don't read the word. I probably should have started with that. If I'm honest, as a Bible teacher, longer than I've been in business, people do not. You remember Clubhouse back in the day?
I do.
I mean, I know it still exists, but when it was like its heyday, I had a Bible study on there. At the time, we had about like 15,000 people in our club.
Wow.
We were doing a daily Bible study.
Wow.
That's a whole nother story. And people from around the world. So this was 2020. Everybody was in the house. And the Holy Spirit told me to go in there and start doing a morning Bible study. So I did it, ballooned. People are coming in from around the world. And when I tell you the questions that these people would ask, having been in church 40 years and you don't know the 3 baptisms, you can't tell me the fruit of the base. I was like, we are still on milk. And it grieved me, so deeply. I was like, people don't study the word, for themselves. If their pastor didn't say it, some of these people don't even know what it says. And so I do because there's some principles you pick up.
Yes, ma'am.
And you notice when you are studying it. But that doesn't happen if you're only getting fed on Sunday.
That was so eloquently put for so many different reasons. And because I see pictures too, it's like you speak in word pictures, right? And I'm like, we talking about seed and harvest. Reading the Bible is sowing the seed.
You right. Exactly. Yeah.
And so it's like, how can people expect to operate the principles if you don't even truly understand them?
Yeah. Right.
And by the way, that man in the pulpit, who's unlike your parents who were entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
who are entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
don't know the first thing about prosperity. The only time they prosper is when you put your tithe in the bucket.
Yeah. That's
Was
true in a
was I
lot of
supposed to say?
cases.
I shouldn't have said that out loud.
No.
But this is but this is what happens. So then if they're only telling you and exegeting the text from their understanding and from
Yes.
their practice in life,
Yep.
and that's what you holding on to, then how could you
Yeah.
ever have more than them?
Exactly.
So then we had this big
Listen.
conundrum in the church where it's like everybody's giving the pastor their money, and it's like, because unfortunately, for many of them,
Yeah.
they really do think that that's the way up.
Yes. They have not. I love looking at the story with the widow woman who was told to go sell the jars, because it just hit me one day when I was studying. And I had studied that passage so many times, and I said, you could have dropped money out of the sky. We saw you drop manna and quail. Like, we know that you could have done that. But I think he was revealing a part of his nature. And she was in a dire place, right? But it was, you have something that you can take to the marketplace for your own breakthrough. And I think that so many of us, I was always quoting Bishop Jakes, I swear to goodness, but one thing I love that he says is, God doesn't do tables and chairs. He gave us trees.
Facts. That's one of my favorites from him, by the way.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
But we have a body of Christ, and I noticed from being a coach and talking to these people, they're praying for tables and chairs. And I mean, fasting, praying, he come over and send a table. And God is like, no, that's not how I work.
I wouldn't do you that dishonor.
Right.
If I put a seed of my creativity in you, how blasphemous is it me against myself to then disallow you from having to use that?
To usurp that. But I gave you the ability to stand at the tree and look at it and think, oh, if I cut this and I shape that, that's what you should be praying and asking me for. Is the insight in the what I need to do to chop that thing down and make it into what I need to. But most people I talk to are just praying, oh, wait for God to send me a table. And that table is not coming at all.
So I've got a success formula that I just feel is requisite to share at this moment, if you would oblige.
I love a formula.
Okay. So I've gone through many iterations of failure, and I've come out with this model. Okay. And it's called the DEPE success formula.
Okay.
D is for desire. Okay. Psalm 37:4, take delight in the Lord. He'll give you the desires of your heart. Most think that means he give you everything you want, but it means he'll give you everything to want.
Exactly.
Right? The E is then for education. Proverbs 15:22. Many plans fail because of lack of counsel, but with multiple advisors, they succeed. So it's not good enough just to get the vision. We got to then steward over it, go get wise counsel, coaches, consultants, people that can help us.
Yeah.
And then the P is for practitioner. James 2:26, right? Faith without works is dead. So we can't just be hearers of it. We got to be doers of it. Can't stay in education mode. We got to turn into practitioner. And if we do that long enough, we become the last E, which is an expert. When you will have, like King Solomon, have your contemporaries travel countries over to pay you a king's ransom just to learn how you became you, which is what we do right now in the marketplace. Now, if you don't follow that edict and order, you're in trouble. If you go from desire to practitioner, you end up a social media fool,
Yes.
right? You go from education to expert. You end up like these people with letters behind their names and all their certificates, but they got no practical experience to truly be coaching folks.
Yeah.
You got some people in 2020 that went from desire to expert. That was all the 2020 millionaires, right? Everybody was a new
Yep.
coach. The book that was read yesterday. So it has to
Yep.
be followed in that order. Why I bring that up is this. As believers, we think getting a word in our shanana. We think getting a word from our prophetess. We think getting a vision from God is the green light to go haphazardly build something and then false
Yes.
advertise his name on it and get mad at people because they're not paying us. How
Yes.
important is it for us as believers, especially us, to
Yeah.
exude excellence in the marketplace?
Cause that's what was bubbling up as you were talking. And honestly, I think about Daniel. I mean, we always talk, about Daniel in the lion's den, but the other piece that's important to exhibit is how impressive he was for his knowledge, that he was excellent in his craft. Sometimes we want to just rely on the oil, the anointing, but like, are you good at are you excellent at what you do? Sometimes I'm coaching someone and let's say maybe they are in the area of finance and I might ask them, a statistic about credit or this. And I'm like, listen, you should know. You have to be the one that knows, which means you got to really study to show yourself approved. Like you have to be the expert and be excellent. And honestly, a lot of times I'm asking people, what are you reading? Now, this is my father and me coming out.
I think this would be a good moment to take a sip of water.
I'm like, what are you reading? Like, how are you developing your mind? I do want you to read the word. Please study that. But there are some other books. There are some other you're going to have to stay. I am such a nerd. I'm always taking some class. Like, I'm always learning something. And it's funny because typically when I'm on a panel or a podcast or something, I never ask for questions in advance because I don't need them. Whatever you ask me about, I'm ready.
Say,
You know
say,
why?
say that.
'Cause
Say that one more time, Tiff. Say that one more. Because I want this to be a moment, right? Say that one more time. Why are you never concerned about having questions ahead of time?
I literally never ask for questions ahead of time because I know how much time I stay in study and thinking and reflection and turning this stuff from every angle. You could ask me about whatever. I might take 3 seconds, but I have a response because there's no part of this I haven't thought about and sat with and looked up some data and why, like I study this.
Oh, I do.
So I
I
think
do.
we have to recognize that. How do I want help me with the way I'm feeling it? That is honoring God too.
Come
Like
on
the
now.
way that I treat this craft honors him. If I just treat it like it's nothing, what does that say about it? But no, I want to study and make it better, sharpen the saw. I believe that honors God too.
Man, listen, Tiff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So something near and dear to me is a conversation that I had with David Green, from the owner of Hobby Lobby, right? So I had a amazing opportunity, my wife and I, to go out to OKC about 4 years ago now and spend a weekend with David and his family in a small group of like 20 of us. And I got a chance
Okay.
to talk to David Green, like off to the side. And I'm just like, at that time, it was a 50th year celebrating Hobby Lobby. And at that, they were doing like anywhere between $3 and $6 billion a year. And they donated 50% of their revenue to the kingdom for the last 30 years. So I'm
Gosh.
like, Dave, I just need to know from one entrepreneur to another. How did you not lose focus of doing this for 50 years? Like, I don't, it's the shiny object syndrome. Like, you sell arts and crafts, bro. Like, let's just keep it a buck. You sell arts and crafts, okay?
Right.
A lot of them, might I add, but you sell arts and crafts. It's a boring business. And he summed everything up in this one statement. He said, Brian, I'm gonna be honest with you. All my other brothers were in ministry. They became pastors. I always felt like I was a marketplace guy. And I knew how excited I was at 16, 17 years old. I worked for a arts and crafts company, and they gave me the keys to like open a store up. And I just was I felt the weight of that responsibility. And it was a feeling that I owned. I wanted to have that for myself.
Yeah.
And he said, and so I started to, although I wasn't a pastor, I've always been in my word. And he said, I've really tried to embody Colossians 3:23 my whole life. Do everything as if you're doing it for the Lord, not for man's approval, because we know
Yeah.
that our reward and our inheritance comes from the Lord. And
Yes.
that day,
Yes.
I went back to my hotel room and I took that Philippians 4:19 or whatever I had up in my bio. I changed that thing out that day. 'Cause I needed the reminder.
Yeah.
This is the process. This is a man who's amassed billions of dollars that told me all he did was Colossians 3:23. So guess what? That's what all I'm gonna do too then.
Okay.
And it's everything
Right.
you just said though.
Yeah.
It's stopping short. It's stop doing just enough. It's stop coming in late and leaving early. It's stop, sending a one-liner email that was short with your client when you could have expanded and told them what they were actually asking you for. It's going the extra mile for the people that you've been called to serve. It's
Yeah.
showing God that you honor the gift because you didn't give it to yourself.
Exactly.
And that's everything you just articulated. Like, what would the kingdom look like here on earth if believers started to do that?
We'd have a lot more credibility, number one. We struggle with evangelism because I don't think we have the credibility. We have a credibility problem.
We got
because
evangelism and no apologetics.
that part.
So you hype on Jesus and you get mad because they're not, and you can't explain to them why you are.
Precisely. Yes. Have you ever heard of, I think it's called Middle Ground? It's a show on YouTube, and they have there's groups of people with two very different opposing opinions come together to talk. And when I watch, like, they had one that was like Christians and Muslims come together and they're having to defend the faith. And everybody's just defending the faith by saying like their personal experience. So to your point, it's like, no, you need to know you need to know you have to be able to defend the faith. You can't just say this was my experience. You've got to be able to talk about the historical records and all of these different things. So like you said, it's going the extra mile. Like you can't and honestly, we just serve such an excellent God. When I went to Bermuda and some of these different places, and I just literally looked out at his creation, I saw his excellence. Now, if I'm made in your image, I got to show up in that same excellence. Anything less than that is not an accurate reflection of who he is.
What's wild is that we're having this conversation about those of us in the faith. That's what's necessary, but yet discouraging to some degree at the very same time. I find it so interesting that because I'm reading the Bible straight through for the first time this year, right? I've attempted before, it didn't work. I'm 306 days into this thing, and I'm like, Lord, this is happening. Like, we finishing this thing, right?
Yeah.
And so I spent, the first 3 quarters of the year in the Old Testament. We literally didn't get into the New Testament until October 1st. So a lot of time, especially in church today, we only talk about the Gospels, which is important.
Yes.
But why did God let 2/3 of the Bible be the Old Testament if that was the only important part? Just a question for me. I don't know, right? But then as I go through the Old Testament and I see the scarlet, the 110 feet of this and the 2 acres of this.
Exactly.
And you think God really thought we would imagine what 26 acres look like by reading it? No,
Right.
No, it's to your point that we talk about the devil's in the details. God is in the details. He's trying to show us how detail oriented that he is.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And yet we just willy-nilly, haphazardly, least path of resistance. So as long as it don't cost me nothing, but it promised me everything, that's my jam. It's like, that's the antithesis of who he is, though.
Yeah. Literally. Every assignment. It was this many cubits, or it was so go get Bezalel. Get very specific. He was so specific in every assignment.
Yes.
Yes.
And so how can we get specific results with general approaches?
Come on. Exactly. Yeah.
So I know we could do this for another couple hours. I hope this has been challenging and convicting for those watching it, right? Because we're not talking from a Pharisaic place. We're talking from a place of doing the work. And
Yeah.
I think another trick of the enemy is to make us have so much false humility that we forget we do have a part in this and
Yes.
partnering with God on this mission. Because he's not going to come here to
Exactly.
do our part.
No. No.
We'll send heaven to help us do our part, but he's not going to come do
Exactly.
it for us. So we got a
Yeah.
part in this that we got to own, right? Are we got
Yeah.
to we got to participate in our own rescue mission. And
Exactly.
talking about rescue missions, how can you help some of these people rescue their businesses through your brand strategy? I know you got some stuff coming up, and I'd just love for you to be able to share that before you get out of here today.
Well, first of all, thank you for this conversation. Because let me tell you, this has been so edifying. I know it's going to bless the people listening because it has definitely blessed me. So, we're in that time of year now where I'm working with a lot of people around a brand reset, really looking at how are you ending the year strong and how are we setting vision for 2026, which doesn't assume that things didn't go well. This could have been a phenomenal year. And now you're saying, man, okay, now what for 2026? It could be a pivot, maybe you're shifting your audience or your offers or your messaging. And so if you're in that space where you know that, okay, I need to really get reset for 2026 to really maximize the vision, the direction of where I'm going next year, then listen, that's what we're doing. And I would love to have a conversation with you.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then how could they even get into that conversation with you? What would be some good places
Absolutely.
they could find you?
Yeah, if they go to my website, TiffanyBethea.com, I actually have right at the top where they can book a call. They don't even have to click through all the other things. They can, but right at the top, they'll actually see a link where they can book a breakthrough call with me.
Amazing. And this is a personal question. Well, not personal, but personal preference.
Okay.
I'd love for you to talk about who's your ideal client.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. My ideal client, I call them visionaries, but essentially they are business owners, they are ministry leaders, and they have typically already launched or they are launching a coaching business, a consulting business, or some type of digital product. But they are now ready for more people to see it, which number one, we put together their visibility plan. But usually there's also some actual repackaging that we need to do. Is this the right audience? Is this the right offer? Let's do that. And then let's find the way to get this in front of the people who need it. So those are typically my ideal people. They're coaches, they're consultants, or they have digital products.
Amazing. Amazing. Tiff, this has been one of those ones. This has been one of
It's
those
been
ones.
great.
But like people will never know that this is the first time we've ever talked to each other today, right?
Right.
Which says a whole lot. And I just appreciate you for being you. I appreciate you coming to share your gift, your vulnerability, and
Thank you.
your knowledge, your expertise with everybody today. And so I
Thank you.
believe that many will be blessed as a result and just keep up the great work of what you're doing. I'll make sure to include when we drop this to have your tag, all the rest of it. We'll collaborate on some of the posts and all those good things as well.
That sounds great. And look, let's stay connected. If I can support anything you're doing, let me know for sure.
For sure. For sure. All right, y'all. Be blessed. We will see you in the next one.